All right, Drake, talking about the best teams in the Big 12. Right now, maybe it's the Utah hat on my head, the shirt I'm wearing, or the logos behind me, still feel that Utah is the best team in this conference. But I got to be honest. I don't know if any team to me has looked more impressive than Kansas State looked last Friday night against Arizona. A travesty. It was played on a Friday. A travesty. It was a non-conference game like Utah's game against Baylor. But say what you want about this Arizona team. I didn't love what I saw from them against Northern Arizona. Shout out Big Sky, but that was just a weird game. I didn't like that. But Noah Fafita is extremely talented. Also, Tetsuroa McMillan is just fantastic. I mean, him and Luther Burden obviously will be the top receiver taken eventually. But holding this Arizona team, Noah Fafita and McMillan, only 7 points, under 60 yards rushing. I have no issue with anyone saying Kansas State is the best team in this conference right now.
Yeah, if you ask ESPN's Football Power Index, which I wouldn't ask them very many things, by the way. Don't do it. Don't go to the SP index this week, or some random guy says that West Virginia is actually the fourth best team in the Big 12 and got an unfair shake. There are those kind of analytics out there. Every now and then, though, it's not bad to check up on the numbers, and what you are doing as a whole is seen as by a Football Power Index. And the SP Plus has like Texas State above, random, like you'll see them above Clemson. Like, what's going on right now? This doesn't feel right. So I'll give you the Football Power Index, but don't take this as gospel. They have Kansas State at 1, UCF at 2, Oklahoma State at 3. I will give you this. Oklahoma State has a better win than Utah. I know that most Utah fans say, they would say Baylor is better than Arkansas. No, but maybe not. That Arkansas offense is pretty salty. We still don't know a lot about Baylor.
We like Quentin Jackson too, so we'll give you Arkansas.
Yeah. So UCF, they have a road win in conference, surmounting a 21-point deficit with KJ Jefferson, who's not very good through the air, finding a way to get it done on the ground. Defense and run game translates and travels. UCF has a stronger win than Utah does to this point, going on the road to beat TCU. Then Kansas State, they've got that road win against Tulane, which is better than any win that Utah has on their resume. So right now, while I still have Utah number 1 in my power rankings, I still believe with a healthy Cam Rising that Utah is the best team in the Big 12. With a healthy Isaac Wilson, Utah is a top 3-4 team in the Big 12 still. He showed very good flashes later in the game against Utah State when he settled in. Much better than he looked against SUU or against Baylor. I believe that Utah at full strength is the best team in the conference, but their resume to this point, they don't have a win like Oklahoma State, like UCF, or like Kansas State. So it's impossible to say for anyone. It's objectively impossible to say that Utah is the clear-cut front runner. Utah is the best team in the conference, bar none, far and away, the school to beat. That is not the case. However, Utah is still right there at the top, and I don't shy away from having UCF, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, and Iowa State as well in that conversation.
Iowa State and UCF are just on the outside to me. I think it's just wanting to see a little bit more, some of the new pieces acclimating in and everything. But you do make a point. And I think that's where part of me is like, UCF was down so much, but you have to give them credit for mounting the comeback, even though they were down a lot. And it's hard to win on the road in college football. Like, we know that to be true. And the truth is that Utah hasn't been tested on the road yet. They obviously will be this Saturday. That's what's great about all this stuff, right? Is that we get to see Utah go on the road in a hostile Oklahoma State environment and figure out how good this team is. We both think they are very good and going to perform very well, but I am excited to see it play out. I was impressed with Avery Johnson for Kansas State a lot. I think he proved, and that defense proved why they are the ESPN Power Index's top team up there. Alan Bowman has done some nice things through the air. We'll continue to talk about this on Locked On Utes throughout the week. The Oklahoma State offensive line is a massive concern with me, and their inability, because even on one of the broadcasts, they were talking about like, oh man, Ollie Gordon can't get anything going because he's facing an 8-man box. No, he's not. There were 6 guys in the box one time, and he was getting like 2 yards a carry because they can't generate the push up front. Now they have this elite Utah defensive tackle group coming in. I think that's going to be incredibly, incredibly tough for them. But
these schools certainly have their holes, no doubt. You could pick out of the top 3 a moment or a game where you say, oof, this entire unit, offense or defense, just was not par for being a Big 12 championship team. And for Utah, questions about the offensive line arise. And I'm higher than most on the Utah offensive line. And then questions about the Questions about the quarterback arise. And in the running game, can you establish the run for the entire 4 quarters? And they've done that to an extent, but you did in the second half of the Baylor game when you needed to close that one out. Baylor made it interesting because Utah couldn't run the football, rely on the run game. And then in that Utah State game, it got to the point where, hey, Utah State's up on us. We're going to have to throw the football with some success. Otherwise, this could be an upset alert in Logan, Utah. And that makes me pose the question, JT, is Cam Rising in a groove?
He is absolutely not in a groove, unfortunately.
Is he 100%?
I don't think he's 100%.
And would you say that Cam Rising is as elite as we've seen Cam Rising in the past? Can you say that yet?
I do not think we have seen 2022 Cam Rising versus USC yet.
And for that reason, Utah has enough question marks that you still can't put them as the team that will win the Big 12.
It's a great point. And Utah has still had those moments against Utah State. I chalk that up a lot to those are power to me. They have a power 5 receivers out there making plays downfield.
Can I give myself and you a saving grace here?
Yeah.
Can the answer be yes to all of those for Cam Rising?
Yes, absolutely.
Bingo. Yeah, we haven't seen it yet. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen.
I mentioned that this is a stat on a show that's our Big 12 group show that'll drop later in the week. But as much as we want to criticize Cam Rising for missing a throw or 2 here or not working out, 8 of the 11 drives he has led have ended in scores for Utah. So that's where even when he has been off his game at times, he still makes winning plays like he always does. And that's why I'm confident that he's going to do the same against Oklahoma State. So it's going to be fun to get this matchup underway. But one thing that is very clear, Drake, as this matchup rapidly approaches is Utah is still not popular amongst the Big 12 faithful. Maybe it's being picked number 1 in the preseason. Maybe it is all of the noise we heard throughout the offseason. We're going to talk about the exact reasons why and if it's deserved in one moment. But first, I want to talk with you all about one of the sponsors of our Locked On Utes and Locked On Big 12 crossover today. It's Roy. Hey, Locked On Utes and Big 12 fans. Have you heard about Roy? It stands for Return on You. And it's a new platform that lets you, the fans, get involved in NIL like never before by making contributions directly to your favorite athletes. By supporting players directly, you can help shape rosters, retain talent, and keep your favorite athletes out of the transfer portal. As you know, NIL has changed the game for athletes. Roy changes the NIL game for fans. When fans contribute to a successful campaign on Roy, they receive access to exclusive content from the athletes, such as the announcement on their decision when they answer the portal, behind the scenes footage, and other personal reflections, all of which are available only to fans who support that athlete. It's also no risk. There's a no risk contribution where fans' contributions are securely held and are only distributed if the athlete makes a decision that aligns with the fan support. So if not, the money is returned to you. You can download Roy for iOS or Android and enter the referral code Locked On. That is 2 words. So all caps for locked, space, all caps for on, and you'll automatically be entered into a sweepstake to win $5,000 cash. You can visit roy.com for an additional details. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. You can get off the sideline and get into the NIL game today with Roy.